Hello and welcome to Bible FPL, a review of game week 10, a look ahead to game week 11. Both teams have done pretty well again, so we're going to have a quick review of those, quick look at some transfer plans, a short Bible talk as per always, and yeah, basically a look ahead to see what transfers we're looking at next week and some of the fixtures to perhaps target for you guys. So, in terms of the Bible FPL team, 74 points, pretty well. What was that 9 points above the average? I mean, Mark Gay in the quad, look at the state of that at the back. Defcon Daddies, bonus for Gahey, clean sheet for Timber. Lovely stuff. Not much to write home about into the midfield, unfortunately. But Captain Haaland does the business again at home to Bournemouth. And Mateta scored a goal and got a 3 point bonus, which was lovely. So it's gone pretty well. 169,000th in the world. We're still around that, 100,000 rank, which is very nice. So yeah, very happy with the team. And I've got a couple of transfers planned in this week for the team. So we're basically going to do Gakpo to Enzo. 'Cause it turns out Enzo is a Christian. So if you're new to the channel, the Bible FPL team is basically full of players who are at the very least open to the Christian faith or have confessed faith in Christ. Because I do a short talk about the Bible in relation to when they return. So I kind of want to make sure they're happy with the series. So we can bring in Enzo, which is lovely for that home to Wolves fixture. Wolves are really obviously struggling at the moment. I still don't think they've appointed a manager. Gakpo goes away to City and also is now a bit of a rotation risk with Verts playing on the left. So very happy with Enzo, and that also frees up the money to do Lucas Demetric up to Thiago. He's also, yeah, believer in Christ. Very good strike for Brentford on penalties. I mean, I heard a content creator the other day saying these are probably the most reliable front three forwards at the moment in FPL for minutes, on penalties, just ticking over nicely of the points. So I'm very happy to be able to own all three of them on the Bible FPL team. And I think, yeah, the team looks very nice going into this week. It'll obviously be Donnarumma in goal, Timber, Lacroix, and Gay at the back. It'll be a midfield four. We're going to bench Doku home to Liverpool in case of rotation and also tricky fixture. And then we're going to play these three up top. So we're playing a 3-4-3 this week. And the captaincy armband, I think, will be on Haaland. I'd be tempted by an Enzo or a Saka, to be fair. There's some players there. I mean, yeah, the more I think about it, I might end up going Saka. Because I think Liverpool were defending a bit better against Real Madrid. So they might make it more difficult for Haaland, but we know Haaland at the Etihad is pretty strong. So I think I'll mull that one over a little bit, but I think it probably will be captain, vice captain, or captain, vice captain, something like that. But the more I talk about Saka's tempting because you have a few more routes to points, don't you? Extra point for a goal on set pieces, gets clean sheets. Arsenal have been amazing for the season. Even just another one for a cleaner if they get it helps them all to add up. So maybe we go Saka this week. You'll wait and see next week as to what I ended up landing on. Um, in terms of the main team, so to speak, it did actually do better than the Bible FPL team this week. Not by loads, but it was largely thanks to Gabriel doing the business again. Assist, bonus, clean sheet. The man's an animal. Absolutely brilliant FPL asset. He's almost essential in your FPL teams if you haven't got him at the back already. And it's not too late to get him away to Sunderland this week. It's a great entry point. Munoz with the clean sheet was nice. Really pleased I've kept faith with Caicedo. Got a brilliant assist, got bonus, got DEFCON, exactly why we wanted him for the sort of DEFCON contributions and the odd attacking returns. It was nice to get all of that. Salah, it was nice he repaid my faith with a 10 pointer. Got a bit of a lucky goal where it was given to him, but he got bonus. We take it all day long. And Minte, again, finally repaid the faith. A couple of assists for Brighton. Really nice stuff. And Captain Haaland up front. There's not much to say about that. Reinders is becoming a bit frustrating. That's a few 1 points in a row now. So yeah, but we're thinking of holding him because he's got just a really lovely fixture run coming up soon, and there's a few more after that. So we might just hold him for now, but he could be someone we bench for a few weeks until we get to that fixture run. In terms of the short talk, so I'm actually going to use a player from this team for the short talk because Caicedo is indeed a believer. He's been on the Bible FPL team before, and the sort of minute he assisted in actually works quite nice for a passage. So he assisted João Pedro in the 34th minute. So Moses Caicedo, we can read from a book that Moses wrote in the Old Testament. He wrote the first five books of the Old Testament, or at least that's what he's accredited for. And we're going to go and read from Genesis chapter 3, verse 4, in relation to the goal time, book that Moses wrote. And it's basically the context of the fall. If you're a Christian, you'll know this passage well. If you're not a Christian, you may well have been taught about it at school in relation to Adam and Eve and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And basically, how there was a serpent in the garden who was basically the devil in the form of a serpent. And he came to basically try and deceive Adam and Eve and to say, you know, the question basically like God gave them clear instructions what to eat from, what to not eat from, and the devil sneaks in and he's trying to hoodwink them into believing no, like surely God's not saying if you eat from this fruit you're going to die. Like come on, it won't do you any harm. Go on, what have a try kind of thing. And in verse 4 he spells that out. He says, look, you will certainly not die. The serpent said to the woman. Um, and essentially the sort of message I wanted to bring out from this is if God is indeed real and the Bible is indeed real, there is a devil that's also real and a dark side of things in the world who is a deceiver and a liar and is the sort of source of all evil things and is the one who wants to tempt us into things that, aren't going to be good for us. And he's a liar where, the things of this world, he'll try and make appear to us as really great, the things that he knows deep down are going to damage us. I think pornography is a big example of this. It can be a massive temptation for a lot of people that struggle with kind of sexual addiction or that sort of thing, and it ultimately just leaves you feeling more sort of insecure. It leaves you feeling, I think, more mentally kind of like destroyed. It doesn't build you up. It just leaves you in a worse place before you started. But he kind of makes it appear to be this wonderful thing that's going to be really like I don't know fun or enjoyable or whatever. And it's the same with lots of things in this world that end up not being very good for us at all. That there's a temptation there where they sound really great, and then maybe like something like gambling. In theory it's like, oh, this sounds fun, but then before you know it you've lost thousands of pounds. Um, and I think the biggest one I kind of want to talk to you about today is in relation to faith in general. Like the devil is quite happy for people to walk around this earth believing, nah, there's no God. Like God isn't real. Like I can just live my life, do what I want, crack on. I don't need to worry about God. I can just live for the moment, enjoy life. And that's exactly what he wants people to believe. Because if God is indeed real and the Bible's indeed real, then we have all fallen short of God's perfect standard, and we do need Jesus' forgiveness to save us, which He has offered freely for anyone who puts their faith in Him. And the devil would love people to just be completely masked to that and to just go through life doing their own thing. And one day when it comes to death and facing the Lord, there's going to be a judgment where God's like, you needed Jesus to be made right with me, and yeah, the devil wants people to believe that this is a load of rubbish, and what I'm saying right now is a load of rubbish, and that sort of thing. But I just want to encourage you, at the very least, do look into the Christian faith, do investigate it, do an Alpha course, maybe go along to church, just say some cheeky prayers to God to reveal Himself to you, read a Bible, like do your due diligence in investigating the Christian faith, because if it's real, it changes everything, and it means we really need Jesus, and we really need to undo some of the lies that this world feeds us. That's like there's no God, like he's not real, like it's a load of rubbish. Just enjoy living for the moment, because actually it's serious. The stakes are high, and the Bible talks about heaven and hell, and afterlife with God and eternity free of suffering, and an afterlife where, at the very least, I don't necessarily believe in an eternal hell. I think it's possible the Bible indicates that, but at the very least, I believe that there's a judgment where people can cease to exist, and that yeah, I want all of you to have a life in eternity with God, basically, in a place full of goodness and love and peace and everything that God made to be good. And you can get that through putting your faith in Jesus, who died for you to forgive you of your sins. And yeah, I just want to encourage you to like investigate Christian faith. Don't listen to the lies that this world feeds you. That the majority of the world will say there's no God. Don't waste your time thinking about it. Just do what you want, because actually there's a God that loves you. He cares about you deeply, and the stakes are high. We've all sinned. We've all fallen short of God's perfect standard. But that's why He graciously sent Jesus to make a way for all of us to be saved if we put our faith in Him. So I want to encourage you to do that today if you haven't already, or at least investigate the Christian faith towards maybe getting to that place of giving your life to Jesus. And yeah, having that security of knowing you've got guaranteed life in Jesus and in heaven for eternity after death, and also God being with you, helping you in day to day life with the struggles of this world and the temptations of this world that do often end up leaving us feeling more empty than when we started. So yeah, that's the talk. Please do comment if you have any questions. I'd love to help you in this journey of faith if I can help you in any way. Um, Back to the fantasy football content to finish. In terms of the main team, I've got a few transfer plans this week as well. So it's going to be a transfer heavy week for both teams, actually. So what we're going to do is I think this is the week I either keep Salah and I stick with him for that fixture run coming up, or I bite the bullet and I say, look, Salah, you've got us a few points over the last few weeks. The experiment has worked a bit, but not well enough, and your money is not justified for your output at the moment because we've got a captain in Haaland that's ticking over every week without needing to invest that amount of money in you. So we're gonna go Salah, two. He's not quite on the top scoring list. Bruno Fernandes. So partly with Fernandez, I really like him as a captain option next week. Home to Everton, I'm just feeling it. Defcon potential on penalties, routes to points, free kicks, set pieces. He'll be in there for basically a pretty nice United fixture run, which I'll show you in a minute. But yeah, away to Spurs isn't the worst entry point. They struggled against Chelsea last week. He could well get defcon in that game. Could well get an attack in return. So Bruno Fernandes, and then we're going to go Senesi to Timber. So I think that's an upgrade immediately this week, away to Sunderland as opposed to away to Villa for the best defence in the league. And then we're going to do Mark, is it Guiu? I hear some YouTubers saying, to Jean-Philippe Mateta because they have a brilliant fixture on Palace on penalties. Nketiah is out injured, so his minutes are going to be higher. And I just think overall the team looks so much stronger. So we'll be playing this week, Pope in goal. I think it'll be a 3-4-3. So Gabriel Timber Munoz, Semenyo Minte, Caicedo Bruno. I think we're going to first bench Ryan is. I just think there's a chance he's benched. There's a chance if he starts, he plays deeper because Cherky's looking good in cam, Foden's looking good further forward, etc. Then look at that front three: Bowen, Haaland, Mateta, and we're going to captain Bowen. You may have seen it in the title. We're captaining Bowen this week. I have a really good feeling for him at home to Burnley. Burnley really have struggled recently, particularly away from home. West Ham just got a brilliant result at home to Newcastle. There's some good, the good feel there now at West Ham. I'd like to think to try and kick on some momentum from that game. Bowen looked immense as always, was unlucky not to haul in that game. He should have had an assist, FPL harshly ruled out. He smashed the post from far out. He nearly won a penalty. I just am feeling Bowen to haul in that game. And yeah, it'll be quite fun to have a slightly different captaincy option this week, to be honest. And then next week, the Scout News, FPL, what's he called? FPL Scout slash Arne Slots Presser News said that Alisson is probably going to be back next week. And I really fancy Liverpool's run of three games from next week, and it's when Pope would play City. So I'd get Forest, I'd get West Ham, I'd get Sunderland, and then yeah, maybe potentially Leeds if I keep him a bit longer term. So yeah, I could actually have the exact funds to get up to an Alisson for that fixture run to have some Liverpool coverage for their for their really nice fixture run. So yeah, that's the current plan, and I'm really happy with the plan actually. And when Reiner's fixtures get good as it stands, I could just have a first bench Caicedo, for example, or there's other players I'm thinking about bringing in who we'll look at in the future weeks depending on how the land's lying. Final thing before I end the video, just in terms of you guys and what you're thinking about in relation to teams to target, fixtures, players to target. I think if you're going this week on transfers, I think like me, Arsenal, it's not too late to jump on the bandwagon for Arsenal players. There's so many you could go for. I think double Arsenal defence looking really good at this point. So away to Sunderland is a nice entry point to get on that if you haven't already, like me, and you're a bit late to the party. Declan Rice is playing brilliantly. Saka, I think it's a really nice fixture for him. I think yeah, it's not too late to get extra Arsenal players basically. And then this run here, like overall, is actually very good still. So I like that a lot. And I think also this week Palace like continue to be good. Brighton, as a Brighton fan, I know we are leaky. It was our first clean sheet last week and all season, and Palace are a very attacking team. So I think it's not too late to hop on Palace players. That's a really nice run still. You're not too late to the party of Palace players. Sarr apparently was hooked early yesterday due to slight hamstring tightness before the game. They want to be careful with. So I'm a bit concerned about Sarr and his injury record. As much as he's looking incredible, I think he's worth a punt if you're feeling it. I think Mateta I feel slightly more safe with because of the less injury record, and I think Daniel Munoz I'm thrilled to have him on the main team because he's just class attackingly, defensively, even Defcon he's got in the locker. So I think they're the two teams this week, particularly. I think if you wanted to make a transfer this week, you'd be looking at. Obviously Chelsea have a lovely couple of games there, but then it gets harder. So I'm not sure if it's worth bringing in a Chelsea for sort of short term to that level. But again, if you're feeling it, go for it. It's more game week 12, I think. If you can roll a transfer this week, or you can have some transfers in the bank to think about the likes of, Liverpool's fixture run I've touched on. Look at the state of that fixture run. I think you want to be thinking about Liverpool players. So like I said, that's why at least Alisson I'm earmarking in, and I think I'll be looking at some other players moving forward as well that I can get in that run. And then United, look at that. It's a lovely run for United. I think the likes of Burmo, Fernandez are ones you want to consider next week. And also just make sure you've got a good captain next week. I don't really fancy Haaland away to Newcastle. Newcastle can be very solid at home. So make sure you've got a captain next week you're happy with. And that may even inform your transfer plans this week, like mine with Bruno. It's partly why I'm bringing in Bruno this week because I fancy him for that captaincy option there against Everton. And also when it comes to that congested Christmas schedule, we know Bruno's minutes are secure. He's not going off to AFCON or anything like that, unlike the likes of Burmo. So, yeah, I think there are a couple of teams to really think about from game week 12, and you might want to have some transfers in the locker for that. And if you haven't, if you've say come off Semenyo for a bit or don't have him already, I know he's been off form lately, but I think West Ham home onwards here, you probably want to get back on Semenyo or get on him for the first, time. Is another one I think you should at least consider given that fixture run and how good a player he's been this season overall. So yeah, I'll leave the video there before it's far too long. Thanks so much for watching. I do hope your arrows are green this week and you can enjoy FPL and yeah, all that good stuff. Like I said, do like and subscribe if you found this content helpful. If you'd like to tune into more of this content moving forward, thanks for all the support on the channel. It's massively appreciated, and I just want it to bless people really. So yeah, I'll leave it there for now. Thanks so much again for watching, and catch you on the next one.